let's talk about David Morrell versus David Benavidez, which could be coming next. David Morrell knocked out Yamaguchi Falcoa in 45 seconds and dominated him. And it's just the business of the sport. It's kind of twisted here now. You know, Henry said yesterday we shouldn't be complaining about a best fight in the fest for a fight like this, or, you know, obviously it's a fight that the WBC and the WBA are talking about mandating to create mandatory for Canelo, because Morrell is the regular WBA champ and Benavidez is the interim WBC champ. So the winner, you know, will be next in line for Canelo Alvarez if you choose to fight, possibly drop 2 belts. My thing is this, and also talking about Gervonta Tank Davis as well. I mean, you got Benavidez coming off a big win versus Caleb Plant. You got Gervonta Davis coming off a big win versus Ryan Garcia. To continue to build their star power up, you can't have no steps back. Now, Gervonta got more options than David Benavidez. Gervonta is the quote-unquote money man down in the lower weight classes. But for Benavidez, you know, does it make sense for him to fight Morrell, who got, what, 9 fights, 9 knockouts? I think his second or third professional fight, he went the full 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying? And Morrell opened his mouth and Benavidez obliged to say, you know, I get him now. You can look at it as Benavidez, clipping his wings kind of early. And that's something that Keith Thurman probably should have did to Errol Spence and not had to worry about him later on. But then again, the talent pool at 168 pounds is not fruitful enough for him to really do what else can you do there? You know what I'm saying? We ain't seen Danny Jacobs. You know, John Ryder fighting Canelo. We ain't seen Billy Joe Saunders. I'm not sure if Zach Parker will be a step up. So it's not many names there. He already fought Caleb Plant. A rematch really wouldn't make sense at this point. Munguia could be jumping up to a clutch weight to fight Bivol. That's what you're hearing right now. So right now, it ain't no other fight that make more sense than Morrell, but it's one of those fights that's 100% risk and 100% or 0% reward. You know what I'm saying? You think about maybe getting Demetrius Andrade in the ring. You get credit for that. Possibly getting Jamal Charlo in the ring. You get credit for that. So, I mean, all the usual suspects, bro, probably, you know, doing other things. You say Jamal Charlo said him and Demetrius Andrade got on the horn and talked about fighting. And, you know, Charlo said it could be next. He, you know, probably don't want to, need a tune-up fight. So, I mean, that's where we at with it, man. And, I mean, it's a great fight for the fans, but I don't know how you justify putting Benavidez and Morrell on pay-per-view. But then again, they justify putting Charles Martin and Luis Ortiz on pay-per-view, which had no business being on pay-per-view. So, I mean, I guess you can justify it. I think, you know, they should buy some time on CBS and showcase the fight in the summertime. No Olympic zone, just the Masters. And, I don't know if they got the Open no more in tennis. So, they should buy a spot on regular CBS to showcase this fight. I think it's going to be an offensive slaughterhouse. Morrell can punch. But then again, he going to have to learn as he go, because Benavidez, you know, been a professional fighter since he was 16. And Morrell is one of the few guys that I think at 68 who can match the physicality of David Benavidez. You know, Benavidez is not going to be able to walk down Morrell, at least early on, like he did Caleb Plant. And I think, you know, Benavidez is going to have to bring his jab to this fight. I think it could be a slugfest, you know, but I think Benavidez is going to have to bring a jab to this fight. And he got away with not jabbing versus Caleb Plant and, you know, not utilizing that weapon. What you seen Riot not utilize that weapon the entire fight, neither did Tank Davis. Can lead Benavidez in trouble. I think that's the one thing Ronnie going to tell Morrell: you're going to win this fight, you got to dominate with your lead hand. If you dominate him with your lead hand, you're going to win this fight. And I think that's how you beat Benavidez. Once you get that jab working up and down, man, and he want to come around with hooks, you just keep jabbing him. Keep jabbing him up and down. But, I mean, like I said, I think Morrell can match the physicality. And it's like I said, it's 100% high risk, 0% reward. The reward is I'll just beat his ass and I'm already mandatory for Canelo. Now I become super duper mandatory for Canelo, and he still may not fight me. So, but like I said, Morrell opened his mouth. He said no more ducking, no more running. And it's a great fight. It's a fight that should be featured on regular CBS since they don't have any affiliation with Fox. and allow Benavidez to be, in my opinion, on paper, depending on how much Morrell brings to the table, to being a Fight of the Year candidate. So Morrell big, and he really ain't fought nobody. So can he defy the laws of boxing? You know, them Cubans, you know, he wasn't amateurized so long, where he was over there so long. He 35, 33 years old. He looked to be a legit 25, 26 years old, young. And now, you know, Ronnie is able to put some professional things on him. And obviously going 12 in your third professional fight, or second professional fight, maybe fourth, I mean, that's an accomplishment. So he already went 12, you know what I'm saying? And Benavidez, in my opinion, ain't fought too much more tougher competition than him. Obviously, Caleb Plant, Anthony the Dog Durrell. But other than that, what you got in there? Porky Medina, Kyron Davis. I mean, you know, Ronald Ellis. I mean, you know, I think, you know, Morrell, you know, maybe just fighting guys just a step below those guys. Falco, I think, is a career 160 pounder. I think Michael Fox was a career 160 pounder. So, you know, Morrell might still be 1 or 2 steps below that type of competition, but it ain't like Benavidez out here slaying, you know, I don't know, Billy Joe Saunders, Demetrius Andrade, Dimitri Bivol, you know, Anthony Yard, you know, guys like that. Man, like he was slaying those type of guys, man. So, the gap, it is still a gap there, but for Benavidez, the only reason I would risk it, you know, obviously it ain't nobody else to fight. 2, the other reason I would continue to risk it is simply because, you know, if they put it where everybody can see it. If we can get a time on CBS, that makes the most sense. Guess what? The fight ain't that lucrative, so the purses can't be that monstrous coming into a fight like that. You know, Morrell, has he headlined? He might headline a couple times, you know, in Minneapolis, but, you know, it ain't on a grand stage. It ain't on a grand stage. So in my opinion, you know, it might make a lot more sense. It might make a lot more sense, you know, to be like, you know what? Let's put this rare. Let's let Benavidez gain something out of this, other than shutting another contender mouth up at 168. Other than getting something that he already got, which is a double mandatory versus Canelo. Let's let him get something that he can gain out of this, and that would be, he can get in here and people can see him in a great fight, in a great action-packed fight. He can grow his fan base. Then he can go back to pay-per-view. And I know he's not going to want to step off pay-per-view. He probably got some solid residuals, even though that pay-per-view didn't do all that great. But, you know, sometimes you got to take a few steps back to take, you know, 10 or 20 steps forward. And I think the only way that fight is actually worth his weight in gold, or worth his weight, unless they're going to overpay him to fight Morrell, you know, even more than the money, is going somewhere where you can grow your audience. And it's a fight that he can't lose. You know, obviously you would like to see Morrell get more seasons, and you see Lion Killer say he need 5 more fights. In today's day, that's like 3 years, 2, 3, 4 years, damn near 5 years. You know, to get 5 fights. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he got that type of time. He obviously, you know, we never know how much time he got on this earth, but he might not have that much time. Especially waiting on Benavidez. You know, real talk, he probably should already be at 75. So we have to wait and see. But it's definitely Fight of the Year candidate. You know, and you know, Morrell is polished, and if he could beat Benavidez, man, you know, credit to you. If he can't and come up short or get dogged out, you know, he can come back and bounce back. But when you talk about Tank Davis and Benavidez being 2 young fighters over there, you kind of want to progress. You kind of want to keep going forward with them. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Tank got more lucrative options, but outside of Canelo for Benavidez. But you want to kind of keep building on it. And the only way I see them building on what Benavidez done with Caleb Plant versus Morrell is them putting it on a platform where everybody can see it. And he can just continue to add to his fan base. And on top of that platform, they got to do a little bit more production around it. But, you know, he don't really, you know, do a lot of talking and all that. He talk, obviously, but, you know, kind of more engaging. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the only way to really make sense of that, to make sense of that fight and make it really worth it. I know he a dog. He want to fight everybody. He young. But putting that on pay-per-view or putting that on Showtime, that doesn't continue. Well, pay-per-view for sure doesn't continue to grow the Benavidez's brand. CBS should grow the brand, and every quarter they should have a fight on CBS or somewhere like Fox or somewhere like NBC. They should have a big fight every there, and it don't have to be the most lucrative shit in the world. It got to be a really solid fight. Like, for example, like maybe Jermell and Tim Tszyu go on regular CBS. You know what I'm saying? Or who else you got up out there? Just something amongst that. You know what I'm saying? Something in that category. You know what I'm saying? But we'll wait and see. But I think that's a fight of the year candidate. I think that's a signature fight for Benavidez if everybody get to see it, and if Morrell win, for sure Canelo ain't fighting him. So he got to continue to build himself up. So, but it's a great fight and fight I would love to see. So let me know what you girls and guys think. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance get notifications. We go live or drop video. Financially, you want to support the channel. Cash App, $CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree. Find me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. All my other podcast platforms there as well too. Appreciate the love and support. Peace.